reborn into nobility. Burdened with a colossal debt in a sprawling galactic empire, Liam raises his middle finger to the universe, vowing to become the ultimate demon. With a dark resolve to wield his power for evil, he unleashes chaos by awakening his abilities. But no matter how sinister his actions, somehow they always end up benefiting the very empire he aims to destroy. Being a villain has never been this complicated. By day, Liam is an office worker, selling his soul to capitalism. Nearly a decade has passed without a peaceful night's sleep. His corporate life is more dramatic and toxic than any long-running Indian soap opera, and the only thing keeping him going every day is the love of his wife and daughter. When Liam returns home after a long day, his wife greets him warmly and asks about their daughter, Kenami. She tells him Kenami is already asleep, but has been persistently begging to have a dog all day. Recently, Kenami visited a friend's house and saw a Shiba Inu, and ever since, she hasn't stopped thinking about it. Liam isn't sure if they can afford a dog right now, but looking at his daughter's peaceful sleeping face, he decides that if it can bring her happiness, he's willing to work extra shifts to make it happen. The next day, he takes Kenami to the pet store to pick out a puppy. Her joy lights up the room. His wife is genuinely surprised to see Liam agree to getting a dog, knowing it will add to his already heavy workload. But Liam stands firm, believing that as long as his wife and child are happy, he can overcome any challenge. Yet, he is about to learn just how wrong he is. The following day at work, Liam faces his boss's wrath for a late report submission. He reminds his boss that the report was actually sent last Thursday, but the boss was partying at a nightclub with some dazzling ladies and missed the email. Still, the boss finds a way to blame Liam. At work, he endures constant mistreatment, either from his irresponsible boss or disrespectful colleagues who steal his credit and pin mistakes on him that he never made. The office is like a battlefield strewn with betrayal and exhaustion, but coming home to his family each day revives his spirit. However, the next morning, while riding the train to work, Liam receives a message from his friend Nia. She's chatting about the latest Gundam model release and asks Liam to buy one for her. Liam chuckles at Nia's obsession, but as friends, he's happy to help out. Getting off the train, Liam pulls up Google Maps to find the toy store, but unfamiliar with the area, he gets lost. Searching for landmarks, his eyes land on a shocking sight. His wife, out on a date with a strange man. At first, he refuses to believe his eyes, since she had told him she was taking Kenami to swordsmanship class today. Yet here she is, breaking every promise. That night, when Liam returns home and questions her about her day, she lies, saying she only took Kenami to sword lessons and came straight back. Liam contemplates exposing the truth about the man he saw her with, but instead pretends nothing happened. He doesn't want to shatter their fragile happiness and convinces himself that maybe he was mistaken. After all, how could she betray him? Seeking calm, Liam decides to rest and puts his computer to sleep mode. But when that fails, he shuts it down completely. The weight of doubt and betrayal hangs heavy in the air as he silently battles the storm raging inside. Sometimes the greatest villains are ordinary men caught between love, duty, and heartbreak. Before leaving, Liam wandered aimlessly through the city, unknowingly stepping into the very spot where he had seen his wife on a date earlier that day. A sigh of relief escaped him when she wasn't there anymore. But that relief shattered instantly when he overheard her voice on the phone, speaking to that man. This time, she even brought Kenami along. Liam clung to hope, telling himself it was just a close friend. Then, he heard Kenami call that man Dad, and Liam's world crumbled. He turned back to the office, desperately convincing himself that his wife wasn't cheating on him. Maybe that man was just a close friend, playing the part of Konami's father when Liam wasn't around. But right then, his boss appeared and scolded him for being lazy. Liam explained that he was just waiting for his computer to restart because its sleep mode was glitching, and, for security reasons, he had to shut it down completely whenever he left his desk. The boss refused to listen, yelling that he should skip his break instead. Just then, Liam received a call from his wife. She told him Kenami had a serious accident. Panic surged through him as he raced to the hospital. Upon arrival, he asked where Kenami was, and she said the girl was already in surgery. Moments later, a doctor came out and asked if they were Kenami's parents. Both answered yes, so the doctor said one of them needed to donate blood and inquired about their blood types. Liam said he was AB positive, and his wife said she was O negative. The doctor immediately asked her to enter the operating room to give blood. Liam wondered why it wasn't him, and the doctor explained Konami also had O negative blood, so his couldn't be used. While waiting for the surgery, Liam searched online and discovered that if he was AB, his daughter couldn't possibly have O blood. The only explanation was that Konami wasn't his biological child. Liam's patience snapped. He confronted his wife, bluntly asking if Konami was truly his daughter. But instead of answering, she twisted the situation, claiming that she was the one who should be angry, because Liam never cared about the family. She accused him of always working late, never being home. Liam tried to explain he had to work overtime, but she refused to listen. She insulted his job as useless, pointing out he never got promoted or raised and couldn't provide the life she wanted. Liam couldn't believe what he was hearing, but she kept yelling that in their 10 years of marriage, she barely saw him and had to raise Konami alone. She completely ignored the fact that Konami wasn't his child. Then she declared that Liam had never truly been part of this family and vowed to take Konami away. Liam asked where she planned to go, but she ignored him, knocking on Konami's door and telling the girl that they were leaving together. Liam tried to stop her, but she pushed him away in desperation. He begged her not to go, saying he had always tried his best for Konami. But then Konami looked at him and said she liked the other father better. All hope drained from Liam. The next morning, he went to work utterly broken by the betrayal of his wife and Konami. Then, his boss summoned him and accused him of embezzling company funds. Liam denied it, but the boss had records showing 50 million yen transferred to a random account, with logs tracing the transaction to Liam's computer. The result? Immediate termination. After losing his job, his wife seized the chance to file for divorce and even sued for child support, even though Konami wasn't his biological daughter. To avoid jail for embezzlement, Liam had no choice but to repay the 50 million yen by working as a construction labourer. But realistically, he would die before paying off that debt. His life felt over with only one faint light left: Nia. Nia messaged him about the latest Gundam episode. Liam thought about replying that he'd love to watch it together, but deleted the message instead, not wanting Nia to know how miserable his life had become. He fought to hold on to hope, believing that hard work would eventually turn things around. But during lunch, he coughed up blood and realised his time might be running out. That night, he tried to sleep, but the bleeding worsened. With no money for medical care, he could only lie in bed, waiting for death. Yet just as his life was about to fade, a beam of light appeared above him, showing terrifyingly vivid visions. These images revealed that his boss was the one who had embezzled the 50 million yen from Liam's computer, and that same man was the one his ex-wife had been cheating with. It turned out all the lies his ex had told about being neglected were just a cruel mask. From the start, she had treated him like a worm, using him for her own gain. She even colluded in framing him for embezzlement. Liam's pain was unbearable. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. But a mysterious man appeared, confirming it was all true. He asked Liam if he was going to let them get away with it. Liam had reached his breaking point. He swore that no matter what it took, he would make them pay. She declared she was never truly part of this family, and with cold resolve, announced she would take Konami away. Liam asked where she planned to go, but she ignored him, knocking on Konami's door and telling the girl they were leaving. Liam tried to stop her, but she broke free in desperation. He begged her not to leave, pleading that he had always done his best for Konami. But then Konami looked at him and said she preferred the other father. Hope shattered completely for Liam. The next morning, he went to work in utter despair, betrayed by his wife and Konami. But then his boss called him in, accusing him of embezzling company funds. Liam denied it, but the evidence was damning. 50 million yen transferred to a random account traced back to Liam's computer. The verdict? Immediate dismissal. After losing his dad's job, his wife used the situation to file for divorce and even sued for child support. despite Kanami not being his biological daughter. To avoid prison for embezzlement, Liam accepted the crushing burden of repaying the 50 million yen by working as a construction labourer. But deep down, he knew the debt would kill him long before he could clear it. His life felt over, with his only remaining joy being Nia. Nia messaged to him about a new Gundam episode. Liam wanted to reply that he wished to watch it with him, but erased the message, unwilling to reveal how pitiful his life had become. He clung to hope, believing hard work would eventually lift him. But while eating lunch, he coughed up blood, realizing his time might be running out. That night, he tried to sleep, but the coughing worsened, and without money for medical care, he lay waiting for death. Just as his life was slipping away, a radiant light appeared above him, revealing terrifyingly vivid images. They showed that his boss was the real embezzler, using Liam's computer to transfer the funds, and that same man was the one his ex-wife had an affair with. All the lies she told about being neglected were nothing but deceit. From the start, she saw him as a pawn to exploit. She even conspired to frame him for embezzlement. Liam was crushed, unable to believe what he saw, but a mysterious man appeared, confirming the truth. He asked Liam if he would let those criminals escape justice. Liam, pushed to his limit, vowed he would make them pay no matter what it took. The man was drawn to Liam's raw fury, feeling it was worth his visit. Yet he hadn't introduced himself, so Liam demanded to know who he was and what he wanted. The man said he was simply intrigued by Liam because he was a good person. But Liam was done caring about being good. His life had only brought misery. If he could start over, he'd live selfishly, caring only for himself. Hearing this, the man smiled wider, revealing he was here to offer Liam a chance to be reborn in another world. He just had to choose where he wanted to go. Liam wasn't sure if this was a dying hallucination, but if there really was a chance to pick a new world, he wanted to grasp it fully. He remembered Nia talking about a world with Gundams, so he decided to choose that place. A world blending science fiction and magic, where aristocrats and royalty wield tremendous influence. In that realm, power and mystery dance like shadows at dusk. Liam's journey was just beginning, a chance to rewrite his fate where hope and despair clash in a spectacular symphony. There was a chance he might be reincarnated as a simple farmer. But fate had other plans, because the man who favoured Liam decided to grant him a new life as the son of a count, ruler of an entire planet. This was a golden ticket, a fresh start in a grander world. Filled with hope, Liam signed the contract with his final breath, his soul set adrift to a new realm. Today, on the planet Hydra, Liam's 5th birthday was celebrated with warmth and joy. His mother arranged a special party and, with a mysterious smile, invited Liam to follow her. She activated magic that made them float gently above the ground. Liam obeyed, heart pounding. In the next room awaited a colossal birthday cake and an enormous gift box. His excitement surged as he tore open the present and found a cube nestled inside. His mother explained that this cube was a character customization board for his personal assistant machine. With this device, Liam could select any features he desired for the machine: ears, mouth, and other parts that must remain hidden when displayed. Once chosen, the specifications would be sent to the manufacturer to bring his vision to life. Curious, Liam asked why such a gift was given to a mere 5-year-old, but his mother only smiled and said it was very important. At that moment, his father stepped forward, revealing he too had a special gift: the entire Benfield territory. Liam froze, disbelief washing over him. Could a 5-year-old truly be entrusted with such power? He questioned his father, unsure if this was a joke. But his father's gaze was firm, confirming his seriousness, though with one small condition. After passing the territory to Liam, his father, blinded by the prospect of power, Liam failed to notice anything unusual about his father's willingness to give away all that property to a child. When his father presented the contract, Liam signed it without reading a single word. After signing, his parents took the contract and declared they would leave immediately, yet Liam was still oblivious to the fact that he had likely just been duped. He decided to ignore the red flags and focus solely on the truth that he was now officially a count. He vowed to wield the power of a count to ensure that no one could deceive or take advantage of him again. and he knew he would never have achieved this position without that guy. Thus, he felt immense gratitude towards him. However, Liam truly shouldn't trust a man who fed on sorrow and pain. Just as Liam was sent to another world, that man decided to cause a bit more suffering before returning to his realm. He turned his attention to Liam's ex-wife and boss. At that moment, they were still laughing joyfully in a restaurant. Liam's boss joked that he felt a bit guilty for ruining Liam's life, but the ex-wife said she felt no pity whatsoever. After all, he deserved to be punished for wasting 10 years of her life. Suddenly, a group of police surrounded Liam's boss and announced that he would be arrested. He tried to plead that this must be a mistake, but the police had footage of him setting a trap for Liam to embezzle funds, so he would surely be imprisoned for a long time. Now that his ex-wife's father was in jail, she too would face hardship and despair. Turned his attention to Liam's ex-wife and boss. At that moment, those two were still laughing mockingly inside the restaurant. Liam's boss joked that he felt a bit guilty for ruining Liam's life like that, but the ex-wife coldly said she didn't feel an ounce of pity. After all, he deserved to be stabbed in the back for wasting 10 years of her life. Suddenly, a group of police surrounded Liam's boss and announced he was under arrest. He tried to plead it was a mistake, but the police had video evidence of him framing Liam for embezzlement. There was no doubt he'd be locked up for a very long time. Now, with the ex-wife's father behind bars, she would fall into ruin and despair. The guide laughed, delighted at the misery he had just caused. Now, all that was left was to transfer Liam's soul to another world, and he vowed that Liam would suffer far more than he ever had in this world. He wanted to savour every drop of Liam's negative emotions as he realised how miserable his new life would be. And since people in that world lived much longer, Liam would endure centuries of torment. Meanwhile, in the new world, a planet was under attack by ghost pirates. Just as the captain thought his side was winning, several of his own men suddenly exploded. Amid the chaos, he spotted a girl in shining knight armour hovering menacingly overhead. That was Christiana, the first princess of the Galaxy Empire and an extraordinary warrior. Once she joined the battle, the pirate forces were swept away like flies. Thanks to her aid, the Galaxy Empire's army began pushing back the horde. But even as they started to retreat, Christiana ordered her soldiers to keep chasing, needing to make an example out of those foolish pirates. Meanwhile, Liam had just received his personal assistant and was thrilled. However, he didn't expect it to be packaged like a doll. His butler told him to simply touch the box to open it, so Liam complied, and the maid fell to the floor. She introduced herself as Amaji, and the butler explained that from today on, Amaji would be his personal assistant. He also mentioned she'd need maintenance once a week, but could operate continuously 24/7 to serve him. Still, Liam had stopped listening long ago, busy checking his assets. The butler asked what he was doing, and Liam explained he was just verifying whether the production company had made her according to his D+ cup size specifications. Nevertheless, the butler warned him he shouldn't be doing such things in front of Amaji. Liam immediately told Amaji to follow him into the room so he could conduct a thorough examination of every part of her body, making the butler deeply uneasy about Liam's innocence. Hours later, as Liam enjoyed a massage from Amaji, the butler asked what he had been doing inside the room. Liam simply told him not to worry about it. Though he might look like a 5-year-old child, in truth, he was already 36 years old. Yet the butler remarked that 36 was still a child here. Shocked to his core, Liam learned from Amaji that in this world, the average lifespan stretched to 600 years, and humans were considered adults only after reaching about 100 years. Liam had no idea life was so long here, but he was thrilled, because a long life meant endless time to try everything, and he longed to have Amaji by his side through it all. Liam's butler warned him not to grow too close to Amaji, since the Empire harboured deep hatred for artificial intelligence. If anyone saw Liam showing favour toward an AI, ugly rumours might start swirling around him. Liam couldn't understand why humans despised AI, so he asked the butler to explain. The butler recounted that long ago, humanity was nearly wiped out by AI during the Skynet Great War. Back then, humans were enslaved and almost extinct. But in that dark era, a brave group rose up, and reclaimed freedom for humanity. These heroes became the Empire's founders, so it made sense why the Empire's nobility detested AI. But if that was true, then why had Liam's mother gifted him an AI on his birthday? The butler said he was ordered to keep that secret, but now that Liam was a count, he must tell the truth. Finally, he revealed that Liam's parents had abandoned him and fled. Liam asked what they were running from, and the butler explained they had dumped the family's colossal debts onto Liam's shoulders to escape them themselves. Liam's ancestor, Alistair, was a great man who built the Benfield family's fame and achievements, but Liam's father was a true freeloader. After taking control of the Benfield clan, he ruined everything. Now, the family was drowning in enormous debt and had lost rights to exploit all resources on their border planets. Worse yet, their industry had collapsed, wiping out tax income, meaning they would never repay their debts. In other words, this boy was completely sold out. Elsewhere on planet Hydra, a group of locals gathered at a tavern, gossiping about their new lord, a mere 5-year-old child. One man grumbled about his hatred for this place, recalling how the last new lord had imposed heavy taxes for no good reason. Now, all they could do was hope this time would be better than the last. Meanwhile, Liam struggled to grasp the full picture. If Benfield's domain had been poor for so long, why had his parents suddenly shoved that burden onto a 5-year-old's shoulders? Then he realized maybe they only gave birth to him to dump their debts on him. In his past life, Liam had been used, tormented, and discarded like used tissue, but this time he vowed never to let that happen again. He asked Amaji if she would cooperate with him to secure a bright future. Amaji happily agreed, because Liam had given her a purpose. Liam rejoiced at finally having someone he could fully trust. He looked forward to working with Amaji, but first he decided to establish 3 laws for her, a code to ensure humanity's safety. The first law: Amaji must never harm any human. But then Liam reconsidered. He didn't care about anyone but himself. So he set new rules. First, Amaji must never harm Liam. Second, she must obey all Liam's commands unless they contradict the first law. And, finally, she must protect herself in all situations, unless it conflicts with the first or second laws. After laying down these 3 laws, Liam told Amaji he planned to restore the Benfield domain and asked if she had any ideas. Amaji immediately began researching and soon presented a plan. But before sharing it, she warned that as an AI, her thinking might not align with the Empire's ideals. However, she was equipped with administrative support functions to help Liam govern the domain. The problem was Liam knew nothing about this world. So Amaji proposed he use an education chamber, a special device that could compress 10 years' worth of knowledge into just 6 months. Not only that, but it would also strengthen his body during the process. Liam thought it was a brilliant idea, but worried that if he entered the education chamber, no one would manage the Benfield domain. So he decided to temporarily hand over governance to Amaji during his absence. The butler, Brian, immediately opposed this, fearing Liam was entrusting the entire domain to an AI. But Liam reassured him that Amaji would never do anything bad without his orders. Besides, no law forbade an AI from temporarily running a domain, so he entrusted everything to Amaji's care. Once the education chamber was ready, Liam prepared to begin his training. But before stepping inside, he wanted to ask Amaji one thing. He asked if she could feel emotions or anything similar. Amaji replied that she wasn't sure, but when Liam asked her to cooperate, her system log recorded a memory overflow error, C. Simply put, it made her feel happy. Liam was delighted to hear that. He reminded Amaji that he was entrusting everything to her, then entered the education chamber. Meanwhile, a self-proclaimed god and guide, a cold-blooded entity thriving on negative emotions, had finished dealing with Liam, his wife, and her lover. Now he was searching for his next target. His gaze turned toward Earth, where a young woman was about to enjoy the best meal of her life at a noodle shop. But as she broke her chopsticks, back in Liam's world, Amy patiently awaited his awakening before the education chamber. As the door swung open, Liam jolted awake, realizing he had been asleep for 2 long years. His body had grown and was enhanced by the chamber's nurturing program. For Liam, everything had happened in the blink of an eye, and he needed time to adjust to his new form. Aji suggested he should focus on rehabilitation.